Welcome to the DeFi Standard, and this is Mickey B. Fresh. And today, we're going in a little different direction with the video. We're going to talk about Doge, and we're going to talk about the Flare network. Full disclosure, I've never owned Dogecoin. I don't intend to buy any in the near term right now, but I think it's an important topic to bring up that Doge is going to be an F asset on Flare. And there's a lot of talk in the community and in the industry that just have completely dismissed that, well, Doge has no utility. Like, there's no utility, there's no use case, it's going to die. And it's like the ICO bubble. And I have to completely disagree with that based on just the facts. Now, these assets that are F assets coming over to the Flare network are super assets. And I mean that in the literal way, that Doge, as F Doge, is going to have superior functionality and programmability than regular XRP. That's a fact. And I know that's just like hard to accept when you think, well, this is the greatest digital asset. Well, how much can you do with it really right now, regular XRP? Don't get me wrong, there's a huge use case Ripple's working on for global liquidity, and they built a global payment network, all the infrastructure in the back end. The XRP ledger is the most robust protocol underneath, but a lot of us just have them sitting on cold storage doing nothing. That's not utility. And what I want to get away from a little in this video, we're going to talk about mechanism design, tokenomics, and crypto economics. Like, there's more than scarcity and utility, because that's all that really anyone in the industry, in the retail side at least, talks about. And that's wrong, because there's a lot more going on here, and the design of the actual networks is very important. Now, to be frank, the Doge network itself, I agree, is a dinosaur, and there's not much you could do with it. It has those inflationary nature about it through mining and proof of work, and there's not much that's going to be done in there. So I don't think it's going to be the galactical currency or anything. But we have to admit there's tens of billions, maybe over 100 billion now, I haven't checked, of value and a huge community. So do not dismiss something like this. And you as a Spark holder, you should be ashamed if you're knocking that when they're going to be coming over to the Flare network, and that asset's going to be superior to regular XRP. So you don't want to put your foot in your mouth. Don't get me wrong, FXRP will have the same capabilities, and it will have still its XRP ledger with the DEX built in and the super fast settlement and the on and off ramps. So let's take Doge when it goes on to Flare. What happens to it? It literally gets superpowers, because it's now given Ethereum smart contracts on a super fast network with low gas fees. But it's not just that. It's a lot more than that, because they're doing wrap Doge onto Ethereum now. They're rushing to get it onto Binance Smart Chain. But you know what? Those are half-ass solutions, and they're not going to get the full package. What you get on Flare is you get daily yield at no risk. That's something that just is unheard of in the market, and it's going to have a huge impact in the future. And this is why the Flare network is a level up from Polkadot, from Cosmos, from all those other networks that are using proof of stake. They've created a incentive mechanism and a mechanism design at the heart of the network that drives certain behaviors. It drives demand onto the network. It's not just, oh, I like that token, I'm going to be part of that tribe, or, oh, this company is going to be used as the global reserve currency, so I'm going to buy it. No, these are community-driven networks. Well, what can you do with your token? Yes, DeFi is exploding on Ethereum. There's all these liquidity pools, the next big thing. But native Doge and XRP, once they're on Flare, will be able to earn a lot more yield than playing around in all those risky DeFi pools on Binance Smart Chain and on Ethereum. So you'll be able to literally give your Doge two forms of revenue. You'll be able to get daily rewards of Spark airdrop to you, and you'll be able to use it as collateral in any of the DeFi applications. So you just gained two forms of yield. So even if the price is going sideways, up or down, you're earning. And now what you're earning is you're earning XRP because people are minting XRP. So if you have it with the Spark, so as you receive the Spark from the rewards, you're staking that, and then that earns you XRP. That's pretty powerful. And then you're earning more Spark, and you stake it, and you earn XRP. This is all with your Doge. So that's pretty powerful. You're earning an asset that comes with two forms of yield, and Doge already has the yield. So we're going to go through diagrams. Just wanted to do a quick little ramble there because I think it's really important. A lot of just saying things and ignoring Flare. It's like almost embarrassing to the XRP community. It's like if you see that stuff, speak up nicely and say to these top influencers in the community, wake up. This is coming and it's going to pass you by and you're going to miss it. And you had the silver platter with the keys to the kingdom in front of you, and you ignored it for 3-4 months. And then when it happened, you waited and then you missed the boat. Listen to what Hugo says here about the importance of the rewards early on. He said, now you don't just take my word for it. Take his word for it. He created the network.
To that, or point to the distribution characteristics and the length of it, is firstly to reduce, when you distribute a token, you may not get the buy-in of everyone. And so it's to reduce the impact of liquidity on day one. But importantly, it's also to massively increase the yield that someone that holds the token and wishes to participate in the network can achieve. And I'll explain that.
He just said, we're setting it up so that anyone who's going to be an early participant, you're going to get massively rewarded. They're telling you this. And this is going to be at no risk. There's no risk to delegating your vote with your Spark. So now I'm going to switch back over. Now this is for Spark holders, which is many of you who probably watched this video. And just to say, I don't own any Doge, and I don't probably plan on buying any this week or next week. But it's something we got to acknowledge, just the way Bitcoin maxis have to acknowledge that there's a problem with proof of work. Well, you know what? Doge is going to have a ton of utility. It's just a fact. And probably have more than regular XRP by itself. And that's something you might be able to about. But you know what? It's the protocol and the interoperability. This is programmable money, and they're going to have different applications and different functions built into them. Spark is a super asset, a super token. F assets are super assets. They have unique functionalities to them. I'm not going into the technicals. I have a good idea of the ERC standards that are being built into them and how they're able to do this. And you also have Interledger. It's possible that those FTSO rewards can be streamed to you. I don't know for sure, but it's just technically it's possible. So let's see here what he says at the end. Because they're setting up this distribution meticulously. Now remember, you're getting your whole claim on day one. You have the rights and the ownership to your entire claim, and you cannot change that address at all. So you own that. It's just getting released to you. It's not the Flare team releasing it to you. It's not the Flare network. It's a smart contract that you own, and it only goes to that address. So I hope that clears up some of the, Twitter accountants and, others that was saying things about that. I'm not going to say any more. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm definitely not a tax attorney. So let's listen to what Hugo has to say at the rest here.
So the way we have mining, let's say, although we don't really call it mining on Flare, we have this Oracle system. And the Oracle system is the inflation element of the system. So ultimately, Spark holders, FLR holders, they contribute votes. And in fact, we just published an Oracle article today that breaks this down. But in brief, people vote for a price. They either vote for their own price or they delegate their votes to another data provider. So a price, and let's call that price, to start with, that's the Flare XRP price. And that's an important price because that dictates the amount of collateral that is held against the FXRP contract, such that XRP exists in a safe manner on Flare. And so the Oracle system is in some ways the kind of the heart of Flare because FBA style networks, they don't require mining, they don't require block rewards. So there isn't actually there hasn't traditionally been a necessity for inflation, but we wished for the Flare asset Spark to have a sort of a strong utility, which is the creation and provision of data, and then separately the use as collateral to transport value from other networks to Flare. So to try and break this down.
So now, after just hearing that, I'm sure many of you thought, well, oh, they have inflation on this. Why did they do that? And this is where it takes that next level we're moving into. This is a whole new token economy. It's a whole new economics right now. So I'm going to jump here to this diagram. That inflation rate is super important in what it accomplishes because it creates the participation in this ecosystem to delegate votes from your Spark tokens, to provide decentralized price feeds. So it has at its heart, it's not like Chainlink in a layer 2 somewhere doing this. Inside the Flare network, it's able to provide decentralized price feeds to manage collateral. So any smart contract or application on Flare could just tap into that. So now this is done so that incentive of that inflation is going to those who participate. Now, you're going to earn this asset in an inflation that comes with 2 forms of yield at basically very little to no risk that you could instantly delegate and earn daily. So you're going to be very unlikely to sell that. So this is a very different type of inflation. It's actually probably better than scarcity because what it will do is it will keep the strong hands in, and then the good participants will get stronger and have stronger hands. And it will bring in new people from the outside because they'll be like, hey, I'm holding Litecoin over here. What am I doing? Let me bring it onto Flare. Hey, now I'm earning yield. And then all of a sudden they accumulate Spark. And they're part of the ecosystem. So you have this nice, fair distribution of the assets, but you have a market mechanism design that's incentivizing these behaviors. It's creating participation, and it's growing this signal provider network. Now, the incentives from the rewards pool over here. So this is the rewards pools. You have the left over here is the general rewards pool. This is part of the supply now. This is not the FTSO. This blue to the left. This is all the Spark that didn't go to Ripple. 5 billion donated from the foundation, and all the unclaimed Spark. When I made this diagram, it was like 3-4 months ago. There was 20 billion unclaimed. I think it's went down considerably. So we're looking at around 20 billion total being in this general rewards pool. And estimates are around 0.02%. That per day would be released. That's 40 million Spark are released per day to all the F asset holders on the Flare network. And it goes by the dollar value. So that 40 million rough estimate Spark would be divided by the dollar value of what you hold versus what everyone else has, all the other F assets. So doesn't matter what it is, if it's Doge, XLM, or XRP, it's the dollar value of that. And that's possible because the Flare time series Oracle can calculate that in real time and input it right into the smart contract. Now, Litecoin has its own pool of 5 billion. We'll talk about that in another video. But this is going to happen every day. This is just for having F assets there. Now, the Spark is going to be pumping out, generating 28 million Spark per day out of the FTSO on day one. So day one, the FTSO will be generating 28 million Spark. The rewards pools and F asset minting might not open on day one. There might be a couple days staggered delay. Hugo said just because they want the Spark price to kind of stabilize and not be too crazy volatile as the F asset system begins. So basically the arbitrage just got to kick in after the network goes live and all the exchanges listed. So that's going to be, let's see, what's the total there now? 40 million and almost 30. You almost have 70 million Spark coming in per day getting dropped for those who are participating. All you have to do is delegate a vote and bring your XRP onto Flare and hold it in a wallet. That's it. And you're able to then participate and earn these rewards. Now, your participation there and bringing that value there is important. So another great thing about this is you'll be able to utilize your XRP or DOGE in DeFi applications and simultaneously earn those daily Spark rewards. Now, you might be asking, well, isn't that rewards pool going to run out? Theoretically and technically, no, because it would just always take 0.02% of what's ever left. It would never theoretically ever run out. But after 6 months, there'll be governance votes that will manage that percentage rate. Because remember, Spark's value, as it goes up, you might be earning less Spark rewards because more people are participating and have brought F assets over. But Spark's value itself might go up. Well, will probably go up because there's going to be a high demand for it to be staked in the F asset system. And all that Spark staked in the F asset system, simultaneously delegating votes to the signal providers. So you have three use cases for Spark right out the gate. I mean, collateral, earning XRP, and then delegating the FTSO vote and a governance vote, which is going to be fairly powerful one-to-one. So this is this is what real utility is with real use cases on the network level, not out in some other legacy application using the asset. This is on-chain applications. Anyone can participate. There's no way you can regulate this. It doesn't matter. It's software. As soon as the network goes live, Flare network team is out. It's a distributed autonomous organization. There'll be a foundation that will help manage certain things, but that's it. These are decentralized networks. They're not digital securities at all. I mean, I know Ripple's going through a case, but things like this, it's impossible to call them digital securities because they're software and they're globally distributed and nobody controls them. So there's no way to put them in that category. But KYC, AML, and other types of customer protections, I think with PayString, you still can have those consumer protections. They just have to be different. And another thing, I think we'll avoid a lot of the whales that Ethereum and Uniswap have. All these new projects pop up, the whales just jump in them. So Flare is being built with the right projects at the ground up, and it's XRP holders who are getting Spark. So don't give away the keys to the kingdom. It's not financial advice, but peel back the surface. Yes, it costs 5% to mint your FXRP. But if you're staking your Spark, you're earning that. Everyone who's paying the 5%. So that's what, it's not just going to a miner on the network who's just jacking up the fees. The rewards here and the fees go to a positive feedback loop. It's designed in a way, let's go over here now. Is this it? No, right here. So engineering and token design are very important components of these new third, fourth generation networks. Since Flare doesn't need proof of stake, it means it opened up this whole new capabilities here. Ethereum 2.0 doesn't do that because they keep on using a token to secure the network. So you're competing with the applications then and the native token. Flare doesn't have just the native token. It's going to have these high top level crypto assets that already have tens of billions, if not trillions in value that could just get unlocked on the network. So you have all this value coming. So you need a system that's going to be engineered to handle that. And you have Ethereum standard smart contracts, which is the standard. And you have this built-in decentralized oracle. So I think people should be a little more excited of what's coming because the market, this whole design was done meticulously. Forget about the whole scarcity. Forget about overthinking the inflation. Ethereum's inflation rate's been 10% every year since it started, okay? And all that's gone to the miners. And what do the miners do when they get the inflation? They dump it on the market to pay for electricity bills. 1.5 billion was paid to miners last month, and 1.5 billion was paid to Bitcoin miners. Where do you think all that went? Cashed out to fiat, dumped on the market. And people have the audacity to talk about Ripple. Ripple's building things with everything that they've built around with what they've sold. The miners, they don't care. Their incentives are not aligned. Now, the crypto economics is really where we get into this is a whole new field right now. So it's like just being birthed. The company is called Prism. So let's go over here. They show Ripple actually on their website too. So economic design. So these are new types of economics. You can't always compare it to the traditional market because it's not the same. It's a decentralized network and there's governance. So critical design choices in the economics of tokens include the fundamental drivers of the value. Tokens monetary policy. That's what's important here too. So the monetary policy is that 10% inflation rate. But that 10% inflation rate is a governance vote. So it can come down after 6 months. It's 10% annually of 100 billion. So that would be 833 million a month is coming out of there. After 6 months, then you can vote. Now, if Spark's price is higher, you don't need the inflation as high. But at the same time, if more people are participating, can't get as much. So it's a balance here, an equilibrium that the foundation will be putting out reports on. So we have the statistics. On this channel, Patty and myself are going to try to do a Flare Markets update every day starting in June and when the network goes live. We're going to do live streams starting in June every day or at least 5 days a week. And we're going to have basically a daily yield of how much you would have made if you had Spark and FXRP on the network for that day. So we could see it and show everybody because this is an opportunity. This isn't, oh, this might happen. Oh, we might go to the moon. I'm stacking my pennies next to their, Benjamins. No, this is a whole new ballgame. We need to move away from that. Yeah, that's fine still. And that's still probably going to happen. But the market's evolving in front of everyone's face. Forget about Gensler. Forget about all that other digital security nonsense. This is what's happening. It's being built for you, but the community there's not enough. Like, I know Kevin Cage has been talking about a lot. Crypto Eddie, I love her. And a couple others out there that have been. And for our community, he's awesome. And we need to really make the community aware. This is an opportunity, and it could be embarrassing as we have this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity with a network like this to be able to earn this type of yield. I mean, you're earning XRP with a brand new token that gives you 2 forms of yield. It's just unheard of. There's nothing like this that's been built. Its market design is fantastic. Now, this is Prism Group right here, and they lay out this little house of blockchain economic design. So there's different designs that are built into the actual design and strategy. So Flare, when they designed everything, they lay this out with the consultant teams. They went through all the market mechanisms. Well, what do we need? The participation. How can we create that positive feedback loop? This is not just throw out their adapt token and put it in a liquidity pool and then everyone jumps on it and buys it on there in exchange. No, this is built as a foundational component. But you don't need to run to the exchanges for the yield, for the prices to be running up and chasing Dogecoin and chasing Shiba and all these other things. This is a foundational pillar, I think, of the financial system that's coming because it can handle institutional. It's creating real interoperability, not just wrapping Bitcoin and throwing it on Ethereum. And so people got to be wary of wrap Bitcoin. Yeah, it's held by a consortium, but it's held in that multi-sig wallet. Anything ever happened to that multi-sig Bitcoin wallet? Poof, it's gone. So I'd be very wary of wrapping assets, legacy assets, and bringing them onto Binance Smart Chain and bringing them onto Ethereum. Interoperability between smart contract networks like Polkadot with the relay, that's different. Those are more secure. But the legacy blockchains, Flare's the first to do it in a trustless way because you're always guaranteed to get your asset back. You're trusting nobody. The state connectors literally digest all the data from those networks. All right. Last thing here I wanted to go through. So this was another great. I'm going to post these all in the description below. I suggest everyone read through it, start getting familiar with this crypto economics and this whole new type of economy developing on chain. Forget about how it was in traditional markets. Don't expect that to replicate here on this ecosystem. You don't have a job market. You don't have the same time monetary policy. You don't have an interest rate mandate. So it's a very different market. We don't have central banks. Ripple is not a central bank. You don't call them that. They're not. That's not a lender of last resort. They're not. They don't have citizens. It's trying to build a token economy and build applications. That's what we need, is more applications and applications. There's not too many right now, and XRP is not too much use case. And, I don't consider, putting XRP on Nexo and getting 4% a use case, right? There's so much more that could be done. So Doge is going to have superpowers. Accept it. Just know it. If you have friends or family or people who got into Doge, pass that along, that, hey, if you're going to hold this long term, you might as well use it. Or just put it on Flare and earn Spark. That's it. And then you can use it in DeFi. Put it away in the crypto vault on Flare Network, Probity, and just earn interest. That's it. And earn your Spark. So there's plenty of opportunities here, and do not discount anything. Same goes for Bitcoin when it comes over. It'll have massive utility. Its underlying native blockchain, yes, is flawed and proof of work. But you know what? They don't have to stay on those networks anymore. You can bring the value over here. So it's all just changing. So nothing stays the same, and never count out innovation. So the whole monetary policy, the token distribution mechanism, Flare's token distribution mechanism is brilliant, because these general rewards pools are distributing the token. So you got that coming out to the people who bring out their F assets. You have the FTSO with the inflation rate of 10% that is distributing to those who participate in the decentralized Flare time series Oracle for the accurate price feeds. And then you have the monthly releases of the snapshot claim. So that will come out every month. So it's a very fair distribution, and it's done with it's tactical how they design this, and it's just more impressive every time I read it more and more and read through it. And then I didn't even get into it because I'm going to cut this video short because we got a live stream coming up soon. I'm going to release this video after the live stream. So governance, we're going to do a video on liquid democracy because it's very important, and we need to cover that more. I know Flare Community did one on it, but we're going to cover it again. I'm also going to do some more videos on NFTs and gaming. That is going to be huge, huge, huge on the Flare Network. Forte, 3 patents, and they are very interesting. So keep an eye out for that coming. They got some great blogs. I would check them out on Medium. Sparkles is going to be another marketplace, but Forte is going to be a huge, huge marketplace for digital assets, like in-game digital assets. So exciting times. The things that are being built on the Flare network are not going to be able to be built on Ethereum, especially the marketplaces. So you're not going to be able to sell auctions or bidding, because every time you do a bid, you got to pay a $20 gas fee. How is that even going to be possible to be done? It's not. And low value, you can't even do it on Ethereum. See, Flare is going to be able to swallow that market. And I think Forte, with their couple $100 million that they were funded with, they've built something special that's going to connect XRP Ledger with Flare, and then Interledger. That's the key. Interledger's coming. So hang in there, everyone. SEC case will be over soon. We're going to get clarity on that front. Focus on what's coming and being built, like the innovations here, DeFi, the gaming and all that. Don't get dragged down thinking that these networks are going to be digital securities. They're not. It's a waste of time to even discuss that, because a distributed autonomous organization that has nobody in control of it, that's fair distribution, is the last thing. So don't even focus on that. Just focus on the Ripple case, but learn what's coming with DeFi, the on-chain applications. This is where the opportunities are. There's going to be gaming. There's going to be a metaverse. There's going to be NFTs. You're going to see Sologenics now. And another thing I want to cover is the Zum wallet app. I downloaded it. Super happy with it. Loved it. We'd say win. The best XRP wallet I've ever had. That and a Tangum NFC chip card. I'll toss the Nano right out because it's such a better user experience. No offense to the people who have nano ledgers. I know you're, had those for a while, and that was the plan. Hold on to this thing for 10 years and keep it, on this little drive. With the Tangum card, it never connects to the internet. So you never have to worry about your private keys being exposed online. And it's an NFC chip, so you don't have to, you can't forget anything. Now you can get 2 cards and have a backup, and then have like a written down a seed. So I was very impressed with the whole setup, and you could create like a savings account and then a transaction account. So they are not my sponsor. I don't have any sponsors. I do not intend to have any sponsors. This channel is going to stay neutral, and I'm not going to waste your time talking about a sponsor. But I am Mickey B. Fresh, and I am out.